Hello. Hello. Welcome back to the garage. What you can see here is my radiator. It's a 1932 radiator, and I think it might have been some sort of a street rod application. It had like a curved neck here and just a single outlet at the bottom. And this part is blanked off. Now, I'm not very happy because, well, I am happy because I've managed to do a job, but I've converted it to a V8 sort of application with twin stubs at the top and twin stubs at the bottom. This is one that I had to squash it flat and put it in and solder it in. This is one that was salvaged from that Jaguar radiator, and as was this actually. That's 1 3/4 and that's 1.5 inches. And this one is the end of the one that was here. So those are both 1.5 inches, those are both 1 3/4. I would have liked to have done it 1 3/4 both ends, but I just couldn't muster the parts together. I filmed the conversion and I got some good footage, which I sat at my computer and watched and checked. I thought, this is good, this is going to make a good video. And then it all got corrupted when I was trying to transfer it from the card to the computer. So I thought I would just show you basically how it went. This one is completely undisturbed. This one looks a mess, but it was a mess. I had to get that. This is a transmission cooler and the other end was there. And I had to modify it quite heavily on the sides there, but I did get it in there and I've soldered it in. This one I went in with this hole saw. So I drilled it 1 3/8 and then kind of, if you like, curve the edges in and then let that in and soldered it round. And to solder it I had to get the whole radiator and lift this left hand end up. I'll put it on an axle stand, big axle, one of those big axle stands over there. So I had it all tilted up to make this surface horizontal. I think you can help yourself a lot by making sure things are at the optimum angle for soldering. I did it and I'm pleased with it, but I'm not very pleased about losing all the footage because it was, you know, I thought it was going to make a good video. Now what you can see here is a lot of damage. I don't know if this radiator will ever be any good, but what I'm doing is I'm slowly kind of looking towards, at some point, putting this 32 together. That's my 32 Sedan over there. Now no promises, and I'm not going to, you know, don't hold me to anything, but I'm starting to try and tie up some loose ends. One of the loose ends is the radiator. I knew the radiator wasn't suitable, and it looks like it still might not be any good because it is quite badly damaged, but I can at least put it in place, set all the hoses in place and use it for mocking up all the time while trying to locate another one, or trying to locate somewhere locally that could recore it. I also, one of the other things I needed was a front spring, and I've bought a front spring, and that's in that white box down there. So there's my 32 Sedan sitting there, and up in the rafters over here is the frame. Don't know if the camera can pick that up okay. This is the frame, and it was the original frame. The body was still on the frame when I bought the car, and I took the body off. So I'm kind of thinking that what I want to do is look after all the little peripheral things that I know I need to do. Maybe some of the sub-assemblies. Having said that, I probably will just get the chassis down. I'll get the frame down, and my problem is I can never make my mind up what to do about the you know, whether to paint it or leave it or just protect it. The body is quite badly well, patinated. The frame is quite heavily patinated. It's quite sound, but it is quite patinated. So that's it anyway. That's my little roundup. I'm thinking about starting on the 32 Sedan. It was built up to a rolling chassis at one point, that was. And all the bits are dotted around. The problem is I may have used some parts up on the 33 or the truck or something like that, you know what I mean? I've nicked bits here and there. There's a sort of, can you see that chunk out the frame there? I need to do something about that. Let a piece in. So maybe I will get the frame down. Just start chivying it up. Maybe just put something on it to protect it rather than, you know, I'll clean it off and get rid of the loose rust, but maybe just put some protective substance on it. So there we are. There's my first little job done for the 32. There's the radiator. Maybe scrap, don't know yet. Thing is, with a 32 radiator, you need it to hold all the front end of the sheet metal and the grill shell. So I wanted to use this for that purpose. What is bad is the condition of the core. So I've got to deal with that, but I'll deal with that at another time. I've just noticed something else. Look, there's quite a nasty split there. So that needs to be welded up. There was a hole there, probably for one of those heaters. I welded that up. But this is all in good condition. On the inside, it's like black, you know, shiny black. There's lots of things missing. But, you know, until you start kind of gathering it all together, you don't know what you need, do you? Okay. There we are then. The first tentative steps for the 32 Sedan. I'm kind of talking myself into it while I'm talking, aren't I? Okay. Don't hold me to anything. Don't be upset if it takes a long time. This will be a little back burner project, something going on in the background. Okay. Thanks very much for tuning in then. Thanks a lot. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye. Hello. I'm back at Richard's. Here's Richard.
Hello.
I'm just come down to see how he's getting on with his truck. And as I approach, this is what I saw. He's got all the box taken off the back, the bed taken off the back. It's got the back end up on those somewhat rickety old-fashioned axle stands. Wheel ramps, no, we call those wheel ramps. And there's the bed there, sitting there. So, what you done there then, Rich?
I've just let in this piece here. I think it hit a tree stump.
Ripped it all back.
Ripped it all out. So it was in the back.
Bloody hell. Yeah. And you bolted that back on there as well, that thingy bob.
Yeah, that had been bent as well.
The running board bracket. Richard was just saying to me that he's got all the brake parts. Some of them have arrived and some are still coming, so once they're all here, he's going to start sort of piecing together the brakes and that. Are you giving it a good clean up, Rich, yeah?
Yeah, I think
I was just saying to Richard that that's a good thing with these, isn't it? They're like dead simple and you can easily get down to the basics with them and you know, start making progress then and get the chassis and everything, the bottom end of it all right. You can keep just adding things on as and when you've got them so that you're happy with them. So it's looking good, Rich. Okay. Plenty to do.
Oh, yes, plenty to do.
But plenty to have a go at, you know. It's not like you're stuck, is it, for something?
Oh, no.
Okay, we'll call that a little update then. I think it's about a week since I did the last little clip. Okay, cheers then. See ya. Hello. I thought I'd just share with you a little job that I did on the lathe. These are, I did these for my friend who lives around the corner. He's restoring a F1 truck, F1 pickup. And these are the shock absorber studs for the back. These three are new. I just made those. And this is an original one that I built this area up with weld and then skimmed it back to size. It's 5/8. And then just cleaned up the threads. So that one can go back in as it is. That's the upper one. And that is a copy that I made. These are 1/2 inch UNF threads. That's a 1/2 inch, but I just made that slightly bigger there because that bit has to go tight into the bracket. And that was made from a piece of 5/8 bar. And then these are the lower ones. And I made these from various, you know, short offcuts of steel. But I was pleased with the way these came out. This one's slightly better because the threads came out better. This one, the die was tearing the threads a little bit, but I found a different die and that one came out slightly better, but it's still serviceable. I just wanted to show these because I did this for him and I really enjoyed doing it, and it just shows the value of having a decent lathe, you know, where you can knock things out like this, and it makes a difference between, you know, the vehicle not getting done or trying to codge it up using the wrong parts, and getting it done. These can now be fitted, and he can now assemble up the shock absorbers. And these are a typical job that is ideal to be done on the lathe. There you go, 4 of those. Nice job. Which is my favourite one. This one's got the best threads. There's the threads, look, nice. Okay, thanks for watching then. See you in a bit. Bye. Hello. I thought I would try and simulate the kind of splined surface that was on these studs originally. So I'm just setting up in the lathe, and I've put a turning tool on its side down there, and I'm just trying to set up so I can put some splines on. I've done this one, but I kind of did it by hand. Not by hand, but by rotating the chuck a little bit and then pulling the tool up to make the cut. So I thought what I'd try and do in this one is to make the cuts more even. So what I've done, ignore this piece of metal. This is what I think I'm going to put the camera on. I've just clamped this bit of scrap metal on here so that it comes up here, because what I was thinking was I'll put some marks on the chuck. So I've put a mark against every jaw and against everything, so I've got 6 marks on there. So if I kind of divide this up, I'm just trying to think how many I want. Maybe if I go halfway like that, and then halfway, and then halfway, that'll give me 24 splines. And it doesn't need to be mega accurate. It's not like it's a spline fit, it's just to make it an interference fit in a hole. But by going halfway, halfway, halfway is like, you know, the easiest way of eyeballing it. So eyeball engineering is good enough in this case. Bit out on that one, let me maybe get the angle a bit better. So but it'll still be closer than trying to just do it by turning the chuck a little bit. Oh, I've done it already. Okay. So that should give me 24 serrations. Okay. Okay. You here, I'm going to align this with one of the marks. I can't really get that and that on the same shot. You'll have to just take my word for it. So it's dead simple. So all I do basically is, because I've already done one, I know I've got my dial set, so I know how deep to wind in. So that winds into 0, like that. And what I do, I just wind it along like that. And then back like that. Now I'm going to rotate to the next mark. Wind it along. Up to the shoulder. Wind it back. And then to keep doing that. Shouldn't take too long because there's only, where is it? 6 times 4, 24. They're supposed to be like an interference fit in the hole. So this kind of raises a burr, so it can kind of broach its way in a bit. I didn't show the machining of these studs because it's pretty straightforward, you know, turning. I just don't know how much machining people want to watch, to be honest. And I normally just kind of, if I do film it, anything to do with machining, I kind of fast forward through the machining bits. I think the bit that is interesting in machining videos is the sort of idea behind it and the setup. The actual doing of the work, unless it's something particularly interesting, but the actual doing of the work isn't so interesting. But by showing the setup and the theory behind it, you kind of give that, you might spur somebody else on to try and do it in that way. Just showing endless turning all the time just isn't very exciting. Having said that though, I can't imagine how I would cope without this lathe. It is a superb piece of equipment. You could actually do proper splines by this method, not ideally, but you could do it at a pinch. You know, you're only slotting. So what I'll do now, I'll start it up and just touch a file to it. I'll do it left-handed for safety. Well, it might help a bit, might stop it from turning. A little bit of a rough sort of cut. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. A little interesting and unusual technique there. Some people might not have seen that before. There's the two things, and that one I might have jumbled them up then, I'm not sure which one's which. Yeah, that one there is the one that I did by hand, and that one is the one where the cuts are more even, because I divided it up on here. Oh, that looks better. I just rub these with a wire brush, and they look okay actually. And there they are, the finished job out in the daylight. Quite pleased with that. I think they look okay. So, job well done. Enjoyed doing that. I'll take those round to Richard's then, and he can stick them on his truck. Cheers then. Thanks for joining me in the garage. Bye. Hello. I'm going to try and move the truck and see if I can move the Thunderbird, and I'm going to try and get that chassis down from up in the roof there. The truck started anyway, that's good. I just realised if I get the front wheels past there, I'm going to struggle to get it back in. Just worried about this end sliding out. I don't think it will, but I'll just put these in to sort of stop it. the chain's pulling really tight. There you are then. I tried not to get under it, you know, while it was up in the air. There's the frame, 32 frame. And that's the original frame from that body that's up there. So there's the frame, got it down. I'll start cleaning it up. Or at least getting it to a state where it shouldn't deteriorate. Nice. It's not a bad frame actually. I did have to do some work on it. And I've got that chunk there that I need to take care of. There's an indentation there that you get on the original frames. You don't see that on the repro frames. The chassis number's there. I won't zoom in on it. They say they stamp them elsewhere, don't they? Somewhere along here. I haven't actually been able to pick out a number, I haven't. And it's somewhere in this area, I'm not sure where. Somewhere along there. I replaced that part there. It was quite a big job, to be honest. And of course with these 32 frames you get that weirdo curved cross member there to take the curved rear spring. See, it's got a curve to it. Okay, alright, okay, well that's not up in the roof anymore, so at least with it down there on the floor, you know, it means I can start having a look at it. I'm probably going to just try and put it together, doing the minimum possible in my inimitable style. That's why I was reluctant to get that down, because now that's down, that's taking up another car space. But you know, hey ho, it's no good having these things if you just never do anything with them, is it? Okay. Okay, that'll do. Gonna have a cup of tea. Cheers then, bye.